qual facciamo per amor a lui fossi io di penna
Hello and welcome everybody. Thank you all for coming. We have our first cast in the second sprint of Alchemy League Season 6. We'll be featuring Flying Mouse versus Nope 1585, and then we will show Hydra versus Ice-T. So let's talk about the players just a little bit. So the first set that we're going to show is Flying Mouse is right here, and Note 1585 is right here. So we're looking at somewhere between upper 1200s and lower 1500s. So this is going to be a tough matchup for Note 1585, but he's come a long way in the league and he's improved a lot. So perhaps he will surprise us. In the second set, we're going to see Hydra, who is up here in the upper 1700s, versus Ice-T, who is a 2K player from Germany. So Ice-T, I should say, is from Germany. Hydra, you guys are familiar with. He is Italian. Flying Mouse is German, again. And then Note 1585, I believe, is from India. So the second set I wanted to add, I picked it because the matchmaker goes through and after it's finished matching up the players that are supposed to play each other for like structural reasons in order to make the league work and get the right number of sets for every player, and make sure that they're matched up against their nearby opponents. What it will do is it will look at the elo difference between the two, and it will assign some handicap. And so there's actually some handicap unusually assigned to Hyder here at the 1780 level. So how many times do you get to see a 1780 player play against a 2K player with 5% handicap? I think it's pretty unique and rare. So we're going to look at that, and we're going to form our own opinion of how those games went and whether or not it worked well. Our handicap system is borrowed from Mike Jet 22's Kraken Slayer tournament. We don't fully correct for elo differences with handicap, but we mostly correct for it. And if you are at a disadvantage because of elo, we're not going to completely negate that, but we're going to take the edge off of it with the handicap function if we can. So there you go, 2 German players today, an Italian player and an Indian player, and we're going to start off at the one that's average elo of about 1400. So that would be Flying Mouse versus Nope 1585. The first map that they play is the map of that particular round. This is round 5, or the first round of the second sprint, whose featured map is the Thaw. And then they take turns discarding maps until only one remains, and they ended up with Confluence at the end. So in the first set, we'll see the Thaw and Confluence. In terms of civilization bands, there are 5 random bands at the beginning, and it looks like the admin randomly banned Armenians, Bengalis, the Mayans, the Teutons, and the Sicilians, and then they globally ban 2 civilizations each, depending on the map pool that they see. And then they do pick 2, snipe 1, and then pick 2 more. So we could see potentially Hindustanis, Romans, and Huns from Flying Mouse. And from Nope, we could see Burmese, Koreans, or Portuguese. With Nope sniping Italians from Flying Mouse, which is a smart snipe, and Flying Mouse sniping Malay, which is also a pretty smart snipe. Because we got to bear in mind that these guys are going to want water civilizations for Confluence. Alright, so with the players, the tournament format, and the civilizations available, all having been introduced, we will jump right into the match here. We've got Nope playing as the Cyan Burmese on the Thaw, and over here we have Flying Mouse playing as the Blue Huns. He is about at 2 o'clock, and Nope is something at like 8 o'clock. So it's basically 1 o'clock, closer to 1 o'clock maybe, 1 or 2 o'clock versus 7 or 8 o'clock here. So they're right across from each other. I've seen them spawn closer together on the Thaw. The Thaw was made by Jasuki. He is new to our community as of this season. Actually, let me zoom in on the game because you guys don't need to see my fancy new haircut, even though I did it myself. So it's a very open and aggressive map. Looks like, interestingly enough, all of Flying Mouse's straggler trees are on one side, which is kind of interesting. I guess it's the same way over here. I wonder why that is. I wonder if it's intentional or if it's just a part of the design of the map. But 2 wood lines. Each player gets 2 wood lines. There's more wood lines out here. It's a defining characteristic of there's like a ring of bonus fish around the town center that you can take. And I don't necessarily know if anybody gets any particularly big advantage out of it, but it's just some extra food. And then, but more importantly, and kind of a little bit more painfully, the gold, berries, stone, all of it outside of your tree ring. So very hard to wall, a very open and aggressive map. I think games tend to end pretty quickly on this map, although sometimes people can survive pretty impressively. Let's take a look at the maps a little bit more. It looks like Flying Mouse has some pretty unfortunate berries. They are extremely forward, but Nope's berries are also forward too, so it actually looks quite fair, right? He's got gold here, berries here, stone here, stone here. So it's almost like a mirror matchup, if you will, with a relic in the middle to boot. So, you know, it might seem aggressive, but it might seem unfair, but it's unfair to both of them. So they're both going to have a hard time fighting over these resources. Who knows? Maybe somebody won't even finish their berries this game. I know that when I played ranked, I very often did not finish my berries, and that was on a map like Arabia. So let's see. Let's take a look at the rest of the map. Nope's got some golds in the back. That's good. Flying Mouse has 1 gold in the back, and then he's got another one over here on the side. So Nope's golds are a little bit better. And he might be able to do something like wall off to here or something, make himself a little pocket, maybe wall to the town center, something like that, potentially. So he is a little bit luckier than Flying Mouse in that regard, who would have, I think, a harder time walling. Flying Mouse snagging his second boar. All right, let's analyze the civilizations for a moment. Burmese, I don't get it. I don't understand the Burmese very well. Burmese bonuses, we can hover over it here. I mean, they get some nice economic bonus, and their lumber camp technologies being free. Their infantry are more lethal. They tend to do more damage. Maybe Nope is planning some kind of man-at-arms attack. They get some elephant bonuses, but I don't really expect elephants to come into play here because you need a lot of resources to make elephants, and in order to get a lot of resources, you have to survive and boom up and make a really big economy, but given how open this map is, that seems unlikely. And then they get those Aram buys, which are this ranged mounted unique unit. Those used to be really overpowered, actually. And then they have a cool team bonus that the relics are visible at the start of the game. Anywhere on the map. Now, Huns make a lot of sense to me. But I will say that being Huns, Flying Mouse is not going to be able to house wall at all. He's not going to have to build houses. Nope is actually already on his way up to the feudal age. Wow, that's actually pretty impressive. Let me cycle through these. I think that's the one I want. And then maybe click over here. Okay, yeah, that's good. So we can see that actually both of these players are on their way up to the feudal age now. But when I see Huns on an extremely open map like this, that is telling me that Flying Mouse is 100% going to play very aggressively. Look, he doesn't get houses. He doesn't get houses, so on a map that is already very difficult to wall, he is going to have an even harder time walling because he's not going to be able to take advantage of houses that he already had to build to wall stuff off. I mean, you can kind of see that Nope is kind of started to wall this off here, right? He could fill in these gaps with palisades. He could play it more defensively. You can see that Nope is very aggressively taking these fish here, and indeed, barracks coming up. But I don't see any units being created from that bear. Okay, he's making militia now, and he's probably going to upgrade them to man-at-arms, but he's going to need to go on gold for that, and he has. So he's going to accumulate enough gold for some man-at-arms, and here they are. So we got some militia coming out right now. So Nope is prepared, probably a man-at-arms build. Looks like he's making at least one more. I don't know if it's the best man-at-arms build, but I've seen faster. But then again, you know, this is kind of a different map, too. So maybe the map doesn't really allow faster man-at-arms than this. Meanwhile, Flying Mouse is going to build himself a stable. That's no surprise here. Huns love their scouts. Oop, no, I wouldn't. Yeah, Nope doesn't want to donate too much HP. He does want to mess with Flying Mouse and prevent Flying Mouse from building this stable. But yeah, now these are man-at-arms, and now they're a lot more powerful. He's making a spearman to deal with the scouts. He sees the stable, so he knows scouts are coming. And honestly, I mean, Huns makes a lot of sense for them to go scouts, right? And the Hunnic stables work a lot faster. And they have the eco bonus of not needing to build houses, which at this stage is an advantage because they can basically put all of their wood toward making farms. So Huns have a really good scout rush. We can see that Nope has decided that it's safe to come out here and take these berries. Flying Mouse is, he's made it a militia, which is actually interesting. I believe that Flying Mouse made this militia so that he could fight spearmen. But the spearman is chasing a scout instead. So he's going to send his militia after it. Meanwhile, Nope is over here with a successful man-at-arms push. Oh, except he didn't finish off this villager. But he is going to get another villager pick here. And he's got 3 man-at-arms on Flying Mouse's berries, and Flying Mouse has to get out of there. He cannot afford to lose any more villagers to these man-at-arms. There are 4 of them here. So Nope is really committed to this man-at-arms push. And actually, Flying Mouse is going to send some scouts back to deal with it. Now, scouts versus man-at-arms, who wins? In equal numbers, it comes down to whoever has better micro. Whoever is able to focus down each other's units better. I mean, we got 7 attack from the man-at-arms and 45 HP. We have 5 attack from the scout cavalry. Yeah, 7 attacks. So this +1 right here is not even, like, Nope doesn't even have a blacksmith. That's just free to the Burmese. So that's helping these man-at-arms take on the scouts more effectively. So these man-at-arms have forced Flying Mouse off of his berries. And let's see what Flying Mouse's food situation is. I can't imagine it's very good. I guess he's doing alright. He's got a bunch of fish back here that he can take. But he really did want the berries, I think. He's not making scouts right now, although he was making scouts earlier. He really wants to get in here and get some villager kills. But Nope does have a spearman handy. And this could be pretty bad for Nope, actually. Don't think that spearman's going to hold up very long. Nope, spearman goes down. And then Nope is in big trouble here. He cannot fight this. This is too many scouts. These villagers are all going to die. Ooh, that's very unfortunate. That's probably like 4 or 5 villagers down right there. Flying Mouse deciding, it's only one spearman, I can fight it. So he fights it, and then he comes back, and he's going to pick off another villager. Going to fight this other spearman. So Nope is taking a big hit here. Let's take a look at his economy. He's only got 24 villagers, and his opponent has 30 villagers. So we can see that it's looking pretty rough here for Nope's economy. I don't know what happened to Nope's man-at-arms. He may have brought them back to deal with the scouts. But the scouts are still rampaging through his base. That is not good at all. Now, if he were Khmer, he could garrison his villagers inside of houses and hide. Another villager goes down. Nope, stagnated at 24 villagers. Scouts looking for some more damage. Gonna try to pick a fight with a villager here, but Nope is paying attention this time. And he's got a couple of spearmen coming too. He needs to shank this low HP scout right there. So that scout won't do any more damage. This lady's trying to get to safety. The scouts desperately want the villager pick-off. Are they going to get it? I don't think so. Nope. So Flying Mouse getting excellent value out of his scouts. And he can think about clicking up to the next stage pretty soon. Nope isn't anywhere near the food. Let's check Flying Mouse's food. Actually, Flying Mouse is nowhere near the food either. He's expanded out here, and now he's going to take these fish. But he's been off of these berries, which is kind of a big... I don't want to say it's a waste, but it's unfortunate, because he built this mill here, and he wanted to pick the berries, and he's only now sending one guy back to do so. So, Flying Mouse making a blacksmith. I think it's a little late for blacksmith upgrades, but he's got for the scouts, but he's got archers. So now he's transitioning into archers. So he goes scouts into archers. He gets his opponent to build a bunch of spearmen. And what's Nope going to do now? So Flying Mouse building this blacksmith so that he could get fletching, and he could improve the potency of these archers. And so this lady's going to die now. Nope has to get out of here. Flying Mouse remembering that there were a couple of wounded villagers down here, and he's sending some scouts to finish the job. So Nope is not prepared for this. I don't think he was expecting his opponent to go scouts and then archers. Flying Mouse really doubling down on the feudal age aggression. He has seemingly no plans to go up to the Castle Age. Meanwhile, let's check Nope's point of view. Nope is completely off of gold. He's made a skirmisher so that he can deal with the archers. He's actually made several skirmishers. But again, he's taken more economic damage. So Nope has 30 villagers now, and Flying Mouse has 40. So Flying Mouse with a 10 villager lead over Nope. And it looks like it's mostly trash units from Nope. He's got to get this spearman back here to deal with the scouts. Okay, sending the man-at-arms back. Alright, so what's this? Looks like Flying Mouse is done with these fish and he's relocating out here. And he's going to mill some more fish. So as predicted, Flying Mouse is really playing this very aggressively. He's got terrible walls, so he has to play it aggressively. And Nope very smartly coming for the counterattack, although he's got to pull back and he's got to regroup with his man-at-arms and he's got to use them to kill the scouts. There he goes. Now he can go back and chase some more archers and send his man-at-arms forward and take Flying Mouse off the berries again. Flying Mouse just trying to finish these berries. Nope, actually not trying to finish his berries. Look at how much Nope has in terms of farms. I sure hope that Nope got horse collar. That would be pretty awkward if he doesn't have horse collar. Let's check. Okay, he does have it. That's very good. It's about time for Nope to refresh his lumber camp too. Could build another one over here, or a really good spot would be right here. And then he could actually, like, if he knew about this, I don't know what Nope's... Yeah, Nope doesn't know about that. But he could wall it off here. He could build a lumber camp here. And then he could maybe even wall that off and have some houses and stuff up here. It'd be a decent wood situation for him. Give him some vision if his opponent's approaching. What do we got here? We got another archery range from Flying Mouse. I suspect that Flying Mouse wants to go, if he ever makes it to the Castle Age, which he's 50% of the way there, he's probably going to go into Cavalry Archers. I don't know what Nope's long-term plan is. Maybe Nope is planning on going Cavalry Archers of his own, aka Arambais. Because the Arambai, I think they're seen by the game as a Cavalry Archer type unit. But Nope might call the GG here as soon as he sees Flying Mouse up to the next age. When Flying Mouse reaches Castle Age, he could pretty easily make some knights. I feel like he's got decent food and gold income. He could make some knights and clear out Feudal Age units pretty effectively. Knights are very powerful against Feudal Age units. I mean, even spearmen. Spearmen are the best thing to make if you have to fight knights, if you can't just wall them out. And we see Flying Mouse has reached the Castle Age. Nope is actually pretty close to clicking himself, so he's not ready to give up yet. If I were Nope, I would cancel that second villager and queue Castle Age instead. Yeah, and that's what he does. So Nope is going to head up to the Castle Age now. And he's getting the first armor upgrade for the skirmishers, which kind of feels bad because it's the only armor upgrade that the Burmese get. But Nope, if I were Nope, I would throw down some stables, and I would plan on going like 2 or even 3 stable knights in Castle Age just to survive, just to build up a knight mass, send out those mobile units, try to track down where your opponent's food is coming from. Like, Flying Mouse is right here taking food that's on Nope's side of the map, and this is allowing Flying Mouse, since he's not building farms, he can build a town center instead, and he's going to build it here on this stone, which is kind of an interesting choice. I would have built it right here, you know, on the gold and on the wood, but to each their own, I suppose. So anyway, he's saving a ton of wood by doing this, but Nope doesn't know about it. He doesn't know. He knows that there's pawns there, but he doesn't know that his opponent is taking them, and his opponent has built an outpost to warn him in case Nope comes this way. And sure enough, we can see that Flying Mouse is invested in Cavalry Archers. Nope is almost Castle Age himself, though. No sign of what Nope is going to do. I sure hope that Nope doesn't build a siege workshop and like monks and stuff. And I don't think skirmishers are the right call. I think knights are the right call. Nope is just going to call the GG as soon as he gets Castle Age. So he gets up to the Castle Age just to let us know that he can do it, and then calls the GG. And Flying Mouse is victorious for the first game. Well played to Flying Mouse. He was very aggressive, and it paid off. He's able to keep his opponent trapped in his own base, and he could expand across the map and fish at the various ponds and such of this thawed area. Let's take a look at the achievements. So Flying Mouse with a lot more kills than deaths, that's for sure. Almost 2-to-1. Similarly sized armies, though. But Nope made a lot of trash units. Flying Mouse with more food and wood collected. He was left alone for most of the game because he was on the aggressive. And he killed a bunch of villagers. Getting in on Nope's berries was pretty devastating. Flying Mouse with an 11 villager lead over Nope. Now let us spectate the second game, which is on Confluence. So Confluence, made for us by Jasuni, not Jasuke. Jasuni, he's a different person. He has his own identity and belief system. And the inspiration for this is a converging river. So here's the river. Comes in from either side and then flows off, maybe a deeper version somewhere else. We've got this neutral land here. And it's got all kinds of extra space and forests and all kinds of happy little animals here, hoping that the war doesn't come to them. We got stone mines, gold mines, all that good stuff. So, Nope, coming over here and he's laming Flying Mouse. Stealing Flying Mouse's sheep. Now, Flying Mouse managing to get a few arrows into that scout cavalry. So, Nope will no longer be able to directly take a scout fight. He'll need to have a hill advantage. But I always like seeing this. Flying Mouse coming and then changing his mind, deciding, I don't need those 4 sheep. It's fine. So, there are crossings. You can pretty easily cross the river if you need to. The river is downhill from the mainland. And it has some fish. I think it's actually enough fish to justify docking. I mean, most of the cases it's enough fish. It's like having a second town center with more villagers, and everybody loves villagers. So let's talk about the civilizations. We have Nope playing as the Portuguese, and we have Flying Mouse playing as the Romans. So Portuguese, great naval options, great tower options, and castle options. They get those Feitorias toward the end. We've seen a lot of really long games on Confluence. It seems like it's kind of a Black Forest style map. It's a very heavily forested area. So it's possible to wall up and avoid taking a lot of damage. I don't know if that's going to happen, but it is a possibility. So if you've got a map that you're pretty confident that your opponent can't kill you on very easily, Portuguese make a lot of sense. Because when the gold runs out, when the stone runs out, the Portuguese can build those Feitorias. And the Feitorias can provide them with a trickle of resources. Keep them making bombard cannons and bombard towers and all that lovely, expensive stuff. Both players docking around the same time, around the same population. Looks like, Nope is a little bit ahead in villager count, but not very much ahead. Let's talk about the Romans for a little bit. I like the choice of Romans here. The Romans get those Dromons. They get, I believe, what is it? They get ships that fire, that do a little bit of extra damage. Let's take a look, actually. We can review their bonuses. So their galley line and Dromons have 1 melee and 1 pierce armor. Ah, that's what it is. So it negates the damage increase from researching fletching, which I think is a big deal. You still want to get fletching, because, well, primarily you want to get it for the range, but an added bonus to getting fletching is that your galleys will do a little bit more damage here. But the Romans, if they chose to get into a galley fight, they would take a little bit less damage. Now, Roman economy, really good. The villagers just do everything 5% faster except walk. Their infantry are easier to upgrade with lots of armor. The effect of the armor is doubled, but they don't get the final armor upgrade. So that's another thing to consider. Could see a man-at-arms rush from Flying Mouse. Their scorpions are less gold intensive, so we could see like a scorpion and infantry push from Flying Mouse. Romans are very heavily, leaning toward that infantry and Castle Age siege weapons push. They don't get bombard cannons. And that's kind of a big weakness of the Romans, and they don't get good monks either. Is that the Romans are quite vulnerable to gunpowder in all its forms. Gunpowder, archers, if you've got a composition of like arbalisters and bombard cannons, the Romans are in big trouble. There's not much they can do against that. Or most civilizations would just make onagers to flatten your arbalisters, and then they would, that don't have good gunpowder themselves. They would make onagers to flatten your arbalisters, and then they would make redemption monks to convert the bombard cannons. But because Romans don't get redemption monks, they can't convert the bombard cannons, and the bombard cannons can flatten the onagers, and the onagers can't be used against the archers. So it basically means that the Romans have kind of like a limited time frame to do things. And sure, I mean, they got good economy. They have a little bit of a lead to make that happen. The civilization is designed with that in mind. But on a closed map like this, where Nope could potentially turtle up and prevent Flying Mouse from doing too much damage to him, I think the chances are quite good that Nope is able to get to his preferred army composition against the Romans. And look at this. Flying Mouse is building a forward barracks. This is quite aggressive from Flying Mouse. I mean, it's not as aggressive as building it in Nope's face, but this barracks is trouble for Nope. Nope coming over here building another dock. He probably assumes it's going to be a naval battle. Flying Mouse reaching the feudal age. He's building some militia, and presumably he's got 2 villagers here. He's going to upgrade them to man-at-arms. So Nope is building a barracks of his own. Flying Mouse making this militia. Here he's going to come and mess with this villager. His scout should be over here helping, but it's not. Now this is only a militia, so you know the villagers could fight this off if Nope were paying attention. And man-at-arms coming in now. And Flying Mouse has to kind of avoid taking too much damage. He's sending a scout to help out. Is he going to get a villager pick-off? He does. But he loses a militia before it can be upgraded to man-at-arms. And if I were him, I would actually probably just cancel man-at-arms right now. Alright, but he gets it anyway. So, he manages to kill 2 villagers, I believe. And Flying Mouse just has this one random man-at-arms attacking back here. He can't really fight 3 villagers, though. He's got to run. He's making more man-at-arms. I really like man-at-arms plus towers here. I think it makes a lot of sense. I mean, your opponent, it's such a restricted area that I feel like it can do a lot of damage. Now, Flying Mouse has also made a fire galley, and it looks like Nope hasn't made any ships yet, probably because his villagers were being harassed by man-at-arms, so he didn't have good gold income. So because he didn't have good gold income, he wasn't able to afford the ships to fight off his opponent's ships. So this gives Flying Mouse a bit of a head start on sinking fishing ships. Nope sending some villagers forward to repair the fire galley, which is a smart choice. We've seen people send villagers to repair ships quite often in Alchemy League. I think it's the meta. It makes sense. It costs half as many resources to repair as it does to build new. So if you took a ship and you basically repaired it from 1% of its HP all the way to full health, it would cost half as much as if you had just built a new ship. Flying Mouse continuing to make man-at-arms. He's actually building an archery range now. I think the plan is he's going to make skirmishers to counter the archers. Nope is making archers to deal with these man-at-arms. You can see that there's an archer right here. So Flying Mouse is going to make some skirmishers to deal with those archers. He manages to kill the archer, which is good value. Nope not garrisoning the town center in time. However, it appears that Nope is winning water. Flying Mouse has built another dock back here for his fishing ships to work out of. And Flying Mouse has 1 fire ship here, but that's not going to be enough. Nope has 4 fire ships. Flying Mouse has focused more on land than Nope has. I love this tower. This is a fantastic tower. Let's see, does Flying Mouse have any more on stone? No, he does not. He should send more to stone. He should build towers all back here. He could deny a lot of resources. And look at this, Nope is counter-towering So Flying Mouse deciding that he's going to abandon his tower, and he's just going to come over here. And I don't know exactly what that means. This would actually be a pretty damaging place for a tower too. I mean, you could deny some of the farms and deny the berries. The villager goes down. Flying Mouse with a 3-villager lead over Nope because of all this harassment. I still think a tower right here would be a good idea. And maybe that's what Flying Mouse is up to. He's sending another villager over. And what's this villager going to do? Come on, build a tower right here. It would deny the gold, but it wouldn't challenge this other tower. Flying Mouse, he has the resources, doesn't he? Yeah, he's got the resources. 125 stone. Memory serves. Nope. He's going to build a barracks in the back. He's going to continue to harass his opponent with random man-at-arms coming from all kinds of different directions. So Nope has found Flying Mouse's other dock, and it looks like they may have fought a little bit, because Flying Mouse no longer has a fire ship inside of this dock. Nope is burning it. If I were Nope, I would be sending everything down here. I don't think there's any reason to burn this blacksmith right here that, you know, doesn't really add value to his empire. But certainly if he focused this area, what he should be doing is he should be seeking out the fishing ships and destroying them. Alright, there he goes. So, or maybe that's just AI, I'm not sure. You know, the fire ships automatically attack fishing ships that dropped stuff off at the dock if they were attacking the dock earlier. Look at this. Nope is on Flying Mouse's gold, actually. Comes in and picks off 2 villagers. Will it be 3? Nope. Doesn't see this in time for it to be 3. So that's a good win for Nope right there. Sure, he's probably pretty happy to take his opponent off of gold. So Flying Mouse is going to take this gold instead, and he's going to build a market here. The market will prevent his opponent from attacking from the most obvious direction. And it could be the start of a wall. He actually would not be that hard to wall to the edge of the map in this case, especially if he's already building his market here. Maybe a house here and a house here, and he's all set. He's starting to kind of wall to the town center. Nope is also forced down a tower. Flying Mouse just getting fletching now, and is chasing Nope away with some skirmishers. I knew it. I knew this man-at-arms would get stuck here. I mean, you can't really do too much with that without deleting the barracks. That's unfortunate. That's why I don't trust buildings that are built right up against the side of forests, because something like this will happen. So this man-at-arms will be ready to fight in case this barracks is destroyed. Unless he is killed first, which is a possibility. So Nope halfway up to the castle age. Flying Mouse is not clicked yet. Flying Mouse wants to go up. It looks like he's accumulating resources. He could cancel some villagers and click up. He should have the buildings. He's got a market here, and he built a blacksmith over here. So Flying Mouse could go up, and yeah, Flying Mouse cancels some villagers and clicks up to the castle age, which is smart. So Nope is going to be up first. No one has made a move to colonize the island yet. I guess it makes sense. They both have decent access to it. There's several crossings, so it's something that can be set aside until later. So Nope is just about castle age. Let's see if he does anything unusual. We see any castle foundations for Nope? Any additional town centers for Nope? I don't see him. So what's Nope going to do? Okay, here it is. So he's going to build another town center, and he's going to get the war galley upgrade, and that will upgrade his fire ships at the same time. And so he's going to go toward dominating water. I'm not sure how much value that's going to bring, because his opponent is not really doing much with water. His opponent has one fishing ship, and that's it, and 2 fishermen, or a fisherman and a fisherwoman. So he's not really pulling many resources out of this river, and Nope isn't pulling any resources out. So I don't really think that Nope is... I don't know that that ship upgrade is worth it, but maybe it is. Maybe Flying Mouse will discover a new love for naval combat when he hits the Castle Age, which is just now. But I think Flying Mouse has already kind of shown his hand, shown what he wants to do. He wants to spam infantry. Flying Mouse could be super annoying and like build a siege workshop back here, make a mangonel, pressure the town center. Okay, Nope is coming here for some stone. So I think Nope is thinking about a castle. Castle with organ guns. Maybe that's the reason why Flying Mouse isn't going more so into infantry, because he's afraid of the organ guns. Although mangonels should be an okay remedy for that. Should counter the organ guns effectively. Let's see. So Nope likes his crossbowman. Looks like he's taken Flying Mouse off of gold again. Killed some more villagers. And Flying Mouse is going to have to take this seriously. Another villager dead. He needs to act. He did get his siege workshop up. And he's making some scorpions, which is probably just about the best thing that he could do as Romans. I'm not sure how long scorpions will stand the test of time. They'll be obsolete or not next age. But they'll help him out now. And he's also gotten the long swordsman upgrade. He's tried to ungarrison some long swordsmen, but they're just getting... Oh no, he's still only got one there. I don't know where the other one went. There were 2 in here. I guess he put it to use. Put it to use somewhere. Dock goes down. I think Flying Mouse... I think he should commit to land. I think he should build like 2 more barracks back here. And make some rams. Build a siege workshop, make some rams, and push in. Like, now is his time. Before Nope has a castle. Does Flying Mouse know what Nope has? I mean, yeah, he's got a pretty good idea. I mean, he's explored all in through here. He sees another town center going up. He's going to see that his opponent's on gold, on stone. I mean, the gold isn't a surprise, but this amount of stone, he's going to see that. So, you know, every few minutes he sends one of these long swordsmen to just rampage through Nope's base, randomly raid him and attack villagers. So I feel like he has a good idea that Nope does not have a castle yet. And that means that an infantry and siege push could be very effective against him. But they both seem to want to fight over the water, or maybe just Flying Mouse is just much more concerned with these archers in his base. But I don't really think he needs to be. I think he could have walled those archers out if he wanted to. But I'm not really sure what he's doing now. Okay, he is kind of meandering in that direction. He's built a second town center, and I think 2 town centers is enough for Flying Mouse. And then he can throw down a bunch of farms, pull villagers off of wood, throw down a bunch of farms, and double down on infantry. Come on, Flying Mouse, that's what we want to see. Infantry. Where did the archers go? Yeah, he thinks the archers snuck back here, but really, Nope has just come over this way. Nobody has gone for the neutral land yet. I don't know that anybody will. I guess we'll have to wait and see. Ah, here we go. Here's the siege workshop we wanted. Yes. Now, I don't know if the siege workshop is a response to this mangonel, but actually, Nope kind of running out of space in here. I guess maybe you could squeeze a castle in here. But yes, this siege workshop is what we want to see. Let's do a villager count. So Flying Mouse has 52 and Nope has 62. So Nope actually has 10 more villagers than Flying Mouse at this point. Nope has done a better job of raiding Flying Mouse. And Flying Mouse has taken more eco damage than Nope has. Flying Mouse with a mangonel. Alright, he's just hiding the mangonel. For now, he's building another barracks. Gonna get some free villager kill, maybe. Alright, he got one. Nope reacting. So now he's gonna get started on the town center. Is it just me, or did they add like a thrusting animation to these long swordsmen? This is the first time that I recall seeing it. This building going down as well. Mangonels working their way over. If Flying Mouse isn't paying attention, this mangonel could sweep right around and attack him. Okay, he gets a kill on a villager. Oop, I steer clear. He has a second mangonel in here, actually. But he doesn't have any units to defend the mangonel, so... Oh, no, don't do that. Don't do that. You could hit your own mangonel. Oh! He's just asking for trouble. I guess he might take the villager with him. Yeah, but he kills his own mangonel, which is kind of funny. Maybe they have a gentleman's agreement. So Flying Mouse is up to 64 villagers, and Nope is up to 79 villagers. So like, alright, you know what? We're just going to kind of raid each other and boom at the same time. You can build 3 town centers. I'll build 2 town centers. What do you guys think? Probably not. It's probably just kind of random. It's whatever they feel is the best course of action at the time. There are 3 scorpions and a mangonel in here. This could actually be very damaging. I think Nope should like see the flags on this siege workshop and be like, I probably shouldn't send 12 villagers to Mine Stone here. That could be a bad idea. These 3 scorpions could do a lot of damage to villagers. Now he does have scorpions of his, or he does have siege of his own here. So, you know, he is kind of paying attention to this. But still, Flying Mouse could kill a lot of villagers with this, and he should. He should pop out right here and do the attack ground with the mangonel and the scorpions. Let them attack, and he should get those villager kills. So now Nope is redeploying his siege weapons to defend this. Flying Mouse should just take the shot at the villagers. Yeah, that could have been a little bit better planned, I think. But he still did some damage, got some villager kills. I don't know if it was worth the investment of siege weapon resources, but not bad for having his APM somewhere else. You know, he still did some damage. Let's see what the roll call is. Flying Mouse with 82 villagers and Nope with 97. Nope is actually surprisingly dangerous when fully boomed. I think that's something that surprises a lot of people that play him. When Nope gets into his fully boomed stage, he's actually surprisingly dangerous for a 1300 player. I think he catches a lot of people in the league off guard. I remember casting a set from last season of the league that was on Cataclysm, where Nope just got out of control with the booming, as his opponent just could not kill him, even though his opponent was a much tougher player, statistically speaking. So I think Nope is pretty happy. Like he just wanted to survive, maybe do a little bit of raiding and slow his opponent down, and he's gotten there. You know, he's gotten to the 100 villager mark, and now he's dangerous. Flying Mouse with a castle drop here. It's costly though. It costs him like 6 villagers to build that castle. His villager count is down to 85. And we got a Roman castle here. I don't know if we're going to see centurions or what we're going to see. Flying Mouse's economy is all out of whack. He needs to go up to the Imperial Age. Nope is headed up to the Imperial Age. This Flying Mouse has a surprisingly low number of farms. You would expect from how long the game has gone on. He should have a lot more farms. It's like he's bought some food, and he's going to click up now. So Pretty traditional, right? Drop the castle. Preferably, like, the castle is completed the moment that you reach Imperial Age, but in practice it's not perfect, right? So a lot of players will build the castle while they're going up to the Imperial Age, or sometimes build the castle right before they're going up to Imperial Age, or build the castle and then hope they can get up to Imperial Age, depending on levels of preparedness. So Flying Mouse doesn't know this, but he should totally deny that castle right there. Nope is going to be Castle Age. It's going to be Imperial Age first. He's going to be making trebuchets first. He really does not want that castle to go up. But as fate would have it, Flying Mouse probably assumes that he's going to be Imperial Age first. But that's not the case. Nope's economy has been doing better. Looks like they've expanded out to this neutral land here. Nope actually built a castle out here first, and he's got a town center going on, and Flying Mouse with a town center of his own. But he's going to walk into this castle, which is never a good thing. Sees it and has to correct course here. I'm not really sure how only one villager died from that. That's pretty crazy. They really all should have died from that. They all walked face into a castle, and only one of them was killed, which is pretty crazy. Alright, so it looks like Flying Mouse made some rams. One of them took down a couple houses here, and he's got another one here. And he's almost Imperial Age. Nope is making a trebuchet, or two. He's actually making a trebuchet from here, and he's making another trebuchet from here. So he's making two trebuchets. Maybe it's because it's probably because he sees this castle coming up. Nope is building another castle of his own, and he really wants to nail down this neutral island. He feels that now is a good time to fight for it, and I agree. I think if you can limit the building space and the access to resources, there's a ton of wood over here, you can be in a pretty good position. Nope is also deciding to get this relic back here. He's built the monastery. I think the relic could have gotten snagged a little bit sooner, but that's better late than never. I don't think there's terribly a lot of gold on this map, so the relics make a lot of sense to get as soon as you can. Now, Flying Mouse is still building back here. He's, you know what, actually what I would love to see is I would love to see somebody with onagers going through and, like, clearing out all the forests, their opponent's island. Oh, look at this. We got some Dromons, and the Dromons are attacking the castle as well. Or maybe they don't quite have the range. Looks like he's kind of given up. Can't reach the castle. But the Dromons, at least they have extra pierce armor, right? Extra melee armor. So he's got a trebuchet out, but he has no repairers out. Nope, sending some repairers. So this forward castle from Flying Mouse is going to go down. Oh, okay. He's going to come over here and he's going to pay attention to these fire ships. This isn't going to work out very well. He's heavily outnumbered. And the Dromons are expensive. Maybe he's thinking he can get these Scorpions to kill fire ships. The Dromon's getting some decent area of effect damage there. But the outnumbered is just too much for him. So the Scorpions are going to get burned down, and the Dromons are going to get burned down, and the Trebuchets are going to get burned down. But at least Flying Mouse was able to destroy this castle. Flying Mouse should also, like, totally... He should pick some place to focus and then push there. Hey, Cookie Pirate, welcome. Alright, Flying Mouse is going to go petards. I actually like that. Petards make a lot of sense, given how close he is to this other castle. I don't know that Flying Mouse knows... No, he knows that there's another castle here. I don't know how great petards are then in that case. There's a second castle. Flying Mouse losing ground here. He's on the defensive. Nope is advancing everywhere. Nope has gotten to Arbalister. And now he just needs some siege weapons to deal with Flying Mouse's onagers, of which Flying Mouse will probably try and make, or heavy scorpions. He has a position back here. Nope has a wide-brimmed hat monk with the relic. He should probably stash that relic, but he's looking elsewhere. And Flying Mouse... Oh, interesting. Alright, Flying Mouse has got a raid going on. He's made a scorpion, a mangonel, and a ram, and he's actually killed these gold miners, which is annoying. I don't know that it's going to slow down Nope very much. Nope is kind of in juggernaut mode right now. But it helps. He's going to build another archery range. And Nope has chosen to advance in this location. So he's moving his trebuchets across, and he's unpacked them in the shallows here, and he's got his fire galleys to defend. And then he's going to push on this town center, which is Flying Mouse's starting town center. That goes down. I don't know where Nope's army is, though. I think he's got more arbalisters than this. Maybe he's focusing on somewhere else. What is Flying Mouse doing? I guess he's going to try to mass some scorpions. He's got some scorpions here to fight against the arbalisters. Both players are Imperial Age, but 2 siege workshops are not enough. Not enough against these scorpions. He's going to build a university, which is somewhat of an interesting choice. I think the Romans get some kind of benefit that their scorpions benefit from ballistics or something. Let's check that. No, I don't think so. I don't understand the university then. Maybe somebody in chat can explain. This is their second game. Flying Mouse won the first game. Okay, here's Nope's army. So this is what Nope wants to make. This is kind of what we talked about at the beginning of the match. Romans have a hard time against an army composition like this. So what will happen, and now that Flying Mouse is into Heavy Scorpion, what will happen is Flying Mouse will start to get really good siege, and lots of it, to push back on these arbalisters. And then Nope will make bombard cannons, and then it'll be over. It's pretty much how it plays out every time against Romans. Flying Mouse coming up here with a mining camp. Looks like he wants this stone. Maybe he's going to build a castle in here or something. It would be good to help him secure this neutral land because Nope is raiding him. Nope has built some forward stables as the Portuguese, and he wants to prevent Flying Mouse from taking these resources. Oh, okay, I see. He's running away from the arbalisters, or from the heavy scorpions. These arbalisters are under a lot of pressure. Nope's got to pull him back. He's losing a lot. And now we're going to see probably Nope go into cannons. Let's actually change to Nope's point of view. He's got all the resources in the world, actually. I think he might just be going light cav instead, and he's going to pivot down here to where the light cav are, and he's going to go light cav to deal with the scorpions, which could work because Flying Mouse is not in a good enough position to go halberdier on top of this, so the light cav could work. Flying Mouse, he could get the halberdier upgrade if he wanted to, if he had the pikeman upgrade, thus forcing Nope to go into bombard cannons. Here's Nope's aggressive play. He's going to deny this town center, I think, and he's going to force his opponent off of the neutral land. So now Flying Mouse is basically limited to this area. Flying Mouse building some barracks, and yep, there it is. Pikeman upgrade just came in. So he's going to make scorpions, and he's going to make pikemen. And then Nope will be forced to make bombard cannons, if he's not doing it already. He's getting heavy demolition ship. He's getting the armor upgrade for the light cav. The armor upgrade will help the light cav survive castle fire. I mean, they're still not going to be good, obviously, because it's a castle. But it'll take more time to kill one unit, probably. Flying Mouse walling these light cav out. Light cav wanted to raid. He's going to have to maybe build another house here. I guess he's not too worried about it. The light cav can just circle around and come around up in here. But he's walled to here with the siege workshops, and he's walled to here with the castle. So there's not as much damage to be done. Flying Mouse is patched up pretty tightly. He's got these scorpions driving off the light cavs. Yeah, the light cavs are actually surprisingly not very good against the scorpions. It makes sense. They've only got one armor upgrade for now. They're going to need more. And Nope is making organ guns, and he's also getting siege engineers. He's got demolition ships. I'm not sure what the demolition ships are for, to be honest. Maybe he built them because he thought that if his opponent wanted to get back on water, he would use fire ships. Fire ships which are vulnerable to demolition ships.
Alright, there are the cannons.
Told ya, here are the cannons from Nope. He's making all kinds of cannons. He's making cannon ships, he's making bombard cannons, he's making arbalisters. And that is not good for Flying Mouse. That means the game is pretty close to being completed here. He's got 4 bombard cannons so far. And the only reason he hasn't queued more is because he doesn't have the gold for it. So he'll probably sell some food. He's got 63 on food. He's got a ton of food. Doesn't need all that food. The armies are waiting. Flying Mouse all the way back here. He's got his halberdier, his heavy scorpion. He's got arbalister. Hand cannons are good, but arbalister are better. Unfortunately, hand cannons are just all about not needing to get all the different upgrades. You just get chemistry and you can make them instantly. Whereas with arbalister, you know, you got to get fletching, you got to get bodkin, you got to get bracer, you got to get the crossbowman upgrade, you got to get the arbalister upgrade, you got to get ballistics, you got to get all these different upgrades. So that's why they're a better unit, is because you have to invest more into getting them. Unfortunately, yes. Which doesn't really, you know, historically makes no sense at all, because otherwise we would be fighting with bows instead of guns nowadays. But it's just how it worked out for the design of this game. So you can see the bombard cannons are flattening. The scorpions and the arbalisters are flattening everything else. So with Flying Mouse's army having been vanquished, I think we're going to see a GG here pretty soon. Oops. Don't know what Flying Mouse does against this. We can switch to his point of view. Alright, he's going to make he's going to make cavalry maybe. Some cavalry to charge these bombard cannons. But it's not a good position. He's going to throw down some more stables. I guess there's not really much he can do besides that. But his cavalry, he's just too outnumbered, and all Flying Mouse, or all Nope has to do is mix a few halberdier in of his own, and the cavalry are not going to be a threat. So Nope could actually use a few more cannons, help him take these buildings down faster. But you just can't match the damage output of these arbalisters right now. I mean, the arbalisters are very good against... Even if the cavalry were missing the Imperial Age armor upgrade, they would still get shredded by arbalisters. And I think they're missing the Castle Age armor upgrade, too. Hand cannons are better for civs that get bonuses for it. Or in the case they don't have arbalisters, or at least without the necessary upgrades. Yes. Yep. Exactly. And usually the bonuses for the hand cannons involve, like, timing bonuses. Like, Turks are able to get up to Imperial Age faster because they mine gold quicker, and their hand cannons have more hit points. But a big strength of the hand cannons is their timing. So if you have a bonus that helps you get up to the Imperial Age and get chemistry even faster, then you're much more likely to use them. Flying Mouse still has some stuff back here, but he doesn't have any villager anymore, so he could just make a few infantry to trickle in. Not too big of a distraction. Not sure what he's doing coming up here. He's probably just checking that out. See if there are some bombard cannons in the back he can pick off. This is his. These bombard cannons are the bane of his existence. So let's see what Nope is up to. Nope is spamming Light Cav himself. He doesn't seem to want to invest into more bombard cannons, even though they're what's winning him the game. He's playing it safe. Concerned about his ability to protect the bombard cannons, perhaps. Making shock troops of his own to keep his opponent's shock troops busy. Or maybe he just wants to enjoy this. He wants to slowly carve up his opponent's base. You never know. This is a lot of fun for him. This is his revenge game. Flying Mouse won the first game pretty decisively. Flying Mouse calling the GG. Yeah, there wasn't much more he could do. Nope had a pretty firm handle on the game. No Feitoria, from what I can tell. Didn't need him. Didn't use up the resources of the map. Let's check the statistics. So look at that KD for Nope. This is Nope tearing through light cav and infantry. Destroying way more buildings than he lost, and having a much larger army. Just wearing down Flying Mouse with attrition. Flying Mouse collecting more wood, but Nope had more food, stone, and gold. Flying Mouse was faster to the Feudal Age. Nope was faster to Castle and Imperial. Explored more of the map and researched more technology. Flying Mouse boomed up to 140 villagers. But Nope had more relic gold, more relics. They were tied for castles. Alright, so guys, thank you for watching the first set with us. I'll be right back. I gotta go refill my water. And when I return, we will do Ice-T versus Hydra. We'll go through their map draft and civilization draft. So guys, give me a sec, I'll be right back. Alright guys, I'm back. Thank you for hanging tight. Ice-T versus Hyder. Map of this round is Shattered Plains. They discarded, took turns discarding, until only Shimmer Pool remained. It is going to be a good set. So remember that these players are between upper 1700s and 2K. And that Hyder has 5% handicap. Civilizations. So the admin randomly banned 5. Huns, Portuguese, Cumans, Incas, and Georgians are randomly banned. They banned 2 globally each. Byzantines, Koreans, Mongols, and Persians. And then pick 2, snipe 1, and then pick 2 more. With Ice-T having the choice of Bengalis, Berbers, and Japanese. And Hyder having the choice of Burgundians, Gurjaras, and Celts. So let's get into it. Shattered Plains. What do we know of it? It is a map that is created, or that was created, by Welcome to Rapture. This is his first map creation for us, for Alchemy League. It's a fortress-style map. Players are actually starting pretty far apart here. Let's just check the resources, and yeah, Hyder does indeed have the extra stone, so Hyder remembered to apply the handicap here, which is something that I just wanted to make sure of because they might spend it. And it looks like he actually did spend a little bit of it, which is unfortunate already. So the map made by Welcome to Rapture. You got kind of these open clearing areas. You've got some forests, a walled base, and then there's this area in the middle with some bonus resources that you can fight over. Let's talk about the civilizations. Yeah. Hyder as the purple Gurjara. I love this. This is how you can tell that Ice-T is a 2K player. It's like, you also got 3 deer, right? Like that 1 deer is going to make a big difference. No, but those guys have a really great attention to detail. And that attention to noticing those little things is what can help give them an advantage. So, purple Gurjaras for Hyder, and yellow Berbers for Ice-T. So these are both mobility civilizations. It makes sense. Mobility is popular on this map. You want to take map control here. You want to fight over the resources in the center. I mean, you could perhaps justify Teutons or some slow, powerful civilization. But it looks like these guys want the fast plays. They want the raids. They want the mobility. They feel that it doesn't add as much value to be as a slow, lumbering civilization that destroys everything in their path. They'd rather be civilizations that can pick and choose their fights. And that's the beauty of this map, is that you can kind of be either one. But they've both chosen the path of the Horde. They're both Horde civilizations. They're civilizations that get bonuses around mounted fast units. Generally not as powerful as civilizations that have less mobility, but they can choose their fights. So Hyder taking his second boar here. Give you a little bit of extra food. He's also found some goats. So let's talk about the civilization matchups. I think Berbers are quite devastating here. And I'll tell you why. It's true that their Gurjaras get they get those Shriramshva riders, which have excellent resistance to taking ranged damage. But apart from that, I am not really sure what the Gurjaras make. You know, what is it the Gurjaras can make that the Berbers can't deal with pretty easily? The Berbers, they're going to make the cavalry, the camel archer. That's my call right now. I think Ice-T is going to go camel archers. He's going to run around, he's going to raid, he's going to do some damage, and he's going to wither Hyder down. Remember, Ice-T knows that his opponent has handicap. His opponent's got a little bit of an advantage here and there. It is as though Hyder has the bonus of the Romans, the civ bonus of the Romans, like more efficient economy, but playing as the Grajaras. And he's got even more advantages than that, too. His walls have a little bit of extra HP. I think his units deal more bonus damage, too. So we got 1134 here for his walls. And ICT has 1080. So he's just a little bit better in every way. We could look at the town center. 2520. 2400. So ICT's got his work cut out for him. He really has to outplay Hyder here. And this isn't like a 1300 player, you know, some noob like me. Hyder is upper 1700s. So he is a very good player, easily in the top 5% of players out there. And he's been given a big advantage. Even though it doesn't seem like a lot, Ice-T has to be careful. So, yeah, we see Ice-T going to stone. So Ice-T is definitely planning on castle. I mean, either that or Ice-T is doing like some kind of tower rush thing, but I think that would be a bad idea. So they're both going up to the feudal age now. See, 24 pop for Hyder, 24 pop for Ice-T. So you probably have a pretty similar fast castle 24 pop build. But yeah, Ice-T is probably going to make camel archers. He's going to run around. He's going to raid. He's going to be annoying. There are two potential units that Hyder could make to deal with that. One are the Shramsha Riders to deal with the camel archers. Or he could make his own castle unit. They're basically the equivalent of an eagle warrior. And I'm blanking on the name. Let's see what their unique units are. Oh, wait a second. No, these are... I'm sorry, these aren't the Hindustanis. They get the Chakram throwers. The Chakram throwers... Yeah, okay, so forget that then. It's another civilization I'm thinking of that gets the Eagle Warrior style unique unit. So these Chakram throwers are useless against camel archers. So it's really the Sharamsha Riders here that Hyder's going to need to fight off those camel archers. And if Ice-T makes like camels to fight the Sharamsha Riders, then he's done for. I mean, Hyder's done for. So Hyder going stable. He's in the feudal age. Good news for him is that Ice-T can't scout fight him. This camel scout deals bonus damage, and he's got a ton of health. He's got 70 health against 45. Market and Blacksmith here from Ice-T. Not a surprise. Ice-T is probably going to sell some stone or something. Probably part of his crazy build. I believe he sold some stone in order to... Yeah, because he didn't even drop off, so... He just knows based on his build. Now, Berbers don't have a direct economic bonus, but their villagers walk faster, so it still helps. What are Grajaras good at again? Was never really familiar with them. I'm not really familiar with them either. Cavalry. They are a cavalry civilization through and through. Let's go over them. So Hyder doing the scouts. Hyder wants to make scouts. He's going to get out there. He wants to get map control. He wants to take some relics. I think he's playing it more as a traditional arena. Whereas Ice-T is going fast castle into unique unit, which is not really good against monks. You know, so this is telling us that I think Ice-T knows about this. Does Ice-T know about the scouts? Let's check, actually. Let's see. Yeah, I guess he doesn't know. He'll find out pretty soon enough, though. But he's going to have to commit. This is a bigger commitment. The castle and the camel archers. Hyder asking him about the lag. So let's see what their Gajara are good for. Oop, that's the Berbers. So they start with the 2 forage bushes. They can garrison livestock and mills to passively produce food. Their mountain units deal more bonus damage in all ages. Their fishing ships can garrison in docks for protection. These are some of the stupidest bonuses I've ever seen on a civilization. Seriously, this is the only civilization where they were like, oh yeah, you know, our fishing ships can go back in the harbor for safety. Come on. Give me a break. Same thing with like garrisoning livestock and mills. Now, it's not just a recency thing. I've complained about the Chimera being the only civilization that can garrison villagers and houses too. Now, a bonus, it would be good if they changed that as a feature, with the bonus being that they could garrison more or something like that. Hey, Jasuki, welcome. Team bonuses: camel and elephant arch units train 25% faster. So they just have a bunch of general economy bonuses and bonuses for mountain units. They get these chakram throwers, which are basically their version of throwing axemen, but they have like a pass-through damage. So they're very similar to Franks, except basically better. More generalized to the different types of cavalry units that are available. Whereas Franks are just like all-in paladins with throwing axemen to support. And Hyder's got some cavalry out. He really wants to take map control. I don't know what Hyder knows about Ice-T. Okay, he does know about the castle. So that's good. Their elephant rams are amazing. They destroy everything very fast. Alright, so what is this? So Ice-T, he has to know. He's got to know. I guess maybe he doesn't know, actually. He could find out quickly. He's going to snag this relic. So I actually don't think that he has seen Hyder's army yet. So he doesn't know what Hyder has. He just knows he wants to use these camel archers to pick up relics. Now guys, remember that Alchemy League is standard victory condition. So you can win from controlling all the relics. So you got to be careful not to let your opponent have all of them. And that can change how people play. And sometimes if people do get all the relics, their opponents can panic. And then make bad decisions. Okay, so now Ice-T is going to know my opponent has a really big army. He just lost his scout. So we know that he's seen it. I mean, we're pretty sure he's seen it. He's a 2K player. If we saw it, he probably saw it. He's going to try to sneak away with this monk. Hyder heading over here to where the relic was. But it's not there anymore. So Hyder's going to send some units to intercept. And here we go. So Ice-T dropping the relic. He's going to try to get a conversion in here. Hyder dives for the monk. Completes the objective, right? You want to keep the relic from falling into your opponent's hands. Look at all of these scouts fighting that one camel. It loses half of them, and now they have to run away. So, I don't know if that was worth it. I mean, maybe it was. Ice-T is going to bring in this other relic here. We'll see if Hyder's bringing in any relics. That's the whole purpose of him doing this, right? He's got a monkey boy. Alright. The Indian-style skin for the monks, and he's got a monastery up, but he doesn't have any relics in yet. So he really needs to focus on that. He's built a bigger army than his opponent. He sees the relic on the map. He knows that it's there. And he's just waiting to mass up enough units to go after it. And as we predicted, he's built these Shramshva riders, and these are going to help him fight the camel archers. And he's got some scouts here keeping an eye on this too. And these Shramshva riders, for those that are not familiar with Age of Empires, they have like a reverse charge attack. It's almost like a bubble shield, if you will. The unit itself and its hit points are untouched by arrows as long as that shield is up. He sees that the relic is gone, so he knows that his opponent's monk has snagged it, and here he comes. He wants to deny it. Ice-T getting within castle range so that it's going to be much harder for his opponent to pick up this relic now. And I don't know if Hyder has denied... No, there was no relic there. So, but he was going to get another one down here, and I think he did snag it. Yeah, there's the relic that he's getting. So he's going to get at least one. And that's going to prevent Ice-T from winning with relics, but you still don't want your opponent to get any relics, especially when your opponent is a 2K player. Oop. So now I guess they're going to try to fight each other. No view lock, please. There we go. Alright, so yeah, I guess Hyder doesn't really have the numbers here, but you can see as soon as that charge breaks down, these units die pretty quickly to camel archers because they're not well armored. And Hyder is kind of at the end of his rope. He's built a second town center, And let's take a look at Ice-T. I don't think that Ice-T... Oh, actually, Ice-T is booming. He's on 3 talent centers. The Camel Archer is just more economical for him. Maybe it's a little bit cheaper, or it requires just wood and gold. So he's able to get a little bit better value out of it. He's also snagged this last relic here. So, oh, actually, Hyder's on 3 town centers himself. So both players are trying to boom up and focus on their economy. Actually, Hyder's focused more on his economy than Ice-T has, because he has the villager lead over Ice-T. So time will tell. Is 8 villagers worth a relic differential of, I think it's at least 3. Ice-T with 4 relics and Hyder with 1 relic. So are those 8 villagers worth a difference of 3 relics? That's the question. No, actually, it's 2 relics. Hyder managed to get 2. All right, so that's good. And the answer to that question depends on how long this game goes. If this game goes a very long time, then those 2 relics will make a huge difference. They'll generate way more gold for Ice-T than for Hyder. And he could spend that gold on all kinds of dastardly ventures. He could make cannons out of it. Oh, he's actually going to find this, which is a good find for him. And he's going to slip in this way, and he's going to be a huge nuisance. Hyder not walling this up in time, which is unfortunate for him. So Ice-T's going to come here, shoot the villager, and then he's going to swoop through. And he's just going to be a huge pain all the way back here. Hyder's going to stone gate this. He's got to bring these villagers home. He's actually got a gap to escape through, which is pretty convenient. But he needs to wall that up, because if he could go that way, his opponent could go that way as well. Yeah, there it is. So Ice-T picking off a couple more villagers. So that's unfortunate for Hyder. Seems like he's always just like a minute too late. All of he's got good ideas, but Ice-T was here first. Now, I don't know if Ice-T would have played this the same way if Hyder were a monk civilization. Like, if Hyder were Saracens or Byzantines or something, and he built like 3 monasteries and he had monks all over the place, I don't think Ice-T would have doubled down on the Camel Archers. I think he would have been scared of the monks, because Camel Archers are castle units, and castle units are easy to convert. So I think he would have paid a lot more respect, but because Hyder was going more so horde style military, Ice-T just made this unique unit that's very powerful. The unit has 7 base attack instead of 6, so if we compare that to the armor, like, they just shred through this. This charge is the only thing that's kind of keeping these Shroud providers somewhat alive. But I still really think that Hyder should upgrade their armor, but he may not see the value in it, just based on how many he has at the moment, how much damage they can do. Looks like Hyder is going to come around and look for some raiding opportunities. He's looping around this way. He probably assumes that his opponent has built some town centers outside of his base like he has. See some houses. Doesn't find anything. The Shramsha Riders don't have the best vision radius of all. It's good to mix them with some light caps so they can see everything. So I'm just going to look around in here. But he's not really going to find very much. There's Ice-T managing to deny these 2 stables. Oh, that's going to be annoying. So Hyder has to build his stable back here. And he's going to take Hyder off of these farms too. Going to come in for a little bit more action, but Hyder's watching him. So both players are on their way up to the Imperial Age in a similar time frame. Guys, remember that Hyder has a little bit of handicap. So I feel as though if Hyder can just survive, his handicap really benefits players that are doing macro style strategies, where they're just building up and they've got all these buildings and all these villagers and they're setting a gather point and they're just letting stuff stream out across the map and kill things, right? They've just got a 5% advantage from that. So I think it's actually better if you're a handicapped player to just buy yourself some time, you know, and and let it get to that stage. Ice-T holding this gate open and fighting those Shramshra riders. But I don't know if he's going to go in or not. I don't think he knows. He's going to send some guys in to deal some damage, but he's going to keep this gate open. I'm going to lose some camel archers that way. This is something that Hyder has to deal with. Yeah, it is a raiding party. Ice-T reaching the Imperial Age, and Hyder reaching the Imperial Age. Basically the same time. Hyder's going to make more Shramshra riders. He needs to upgrade them to elite at some point. And Ice-T mixing in these camel riders like we predicted. And, you know, at that point it's going to be really hard for Hyder. Because what's he going to do against these camels? I mean, he could make camels of his own, but these camel archers deal so much damage. And camel riders don't have good pierce armor themselves. So this is exactly the position that Ice-T wants to be in. He wants to weaken Hyder to where this mixture is pretty much impossible for Hyder to deal with. So he just doesn't have the means, the resources to tech into something that can actually deal with these camel riders. Always kind of outnumbered, always just kind of a little bit behind. But Hyder does have the handicap. So there is that. He might be able to make something happen here. Hyder's starting to make camels of his own. His villager count is down, so he's down to 82 villagers, and Ice-T is up to 109 villagers. Remember that Hyder was at like 96 villagers earlier. This is opponent getting in with the raids. Really, I think Hyder can feel the weight of the 2K play here. Like, not many players that are on the ranked queue where Hyder exists. Not very many of them would hold gates open with like units and stuff like that, or would have a perfect like fast castle with Berber unique unit build and like microing the monks everywhere. This is something that's kind of unusual to him. It's a good opportunity for Hyder to improve, actually, to get better. I find that the best way to get better is to play against people who are better than you are, and to get that experience. And so even though this is probably pretty frustrating to play against somebody that pretty much knows all the tricks in the game, even if you have handicap, they just know so many tricks they can just crush you. But Hyder will learn from this. It'll be a good experience for him. So Ice-T taking the first game against Hyder. I thought it was a good game, but the weight of Ice-T really keeping Hyder down and, you know, keeping him from really taking advantage of those macro bonuses from the handicap. So well played to Ice-T. He really capitalized on these camel archers. He was everywhere. He was annoying, and then by the time Hyder finally got up to building up the counter unit that he needed to deal with these camel archers, Ice-T already had camels out on the field to deal with that. So it really did plan it quite well. Let's take a look at the statistics. Alright, so military. Ice-T with 106 kills. Sorry, and 19 deaths. That hurts. Jeez. I know a lot of those were villagers, but still, dang. Ice-T with more food and stone and gold collected, but Hyder with more wood collected. Technology. Hyder was faster to feudal age slightly. Ice-T faster to castle and imperial age, but they had very similar advancement times. I think they did very similar builds. Society stats. Ice-T with 2 castles, 4 relics captured, and 1,800 relic gold. Villager high of 127. Hyder only got up to 95. You can kind of see here where Ice-T started to throttle Hyder just before Imperial Age. So now let's look at the second game, which occurs on Shimmerpool. Let's load it. Alright, they got the desert version of Shimmerpool. This map was created by TechChariot, that is yours truly. It was made for general use, and it's being used in Alchemy League now. So let's talk about the civilization choices. We've got Hyder playing as the purple Celts. I think Celts are a fantastic choice on this map. And Ice-T playing as the yellow Japanese, also a fantastic choice on this map. A version of this map was developed years ago. It was originally called Karga, and it was developed for the World Desert Championship, hosted by a friend of mine, Hugh Coyote 22. At that time, it was a nomad map, because I didn't have the technology necessary to generate an elliptically shaped starting position around an elliptically shaped oasis. I always wanted an oasis that was kind of not perfectly round, but somewhat elliptically shaped to make the map just a little bit, not quite as symmetric, and create a big open area. Because that's the big thing about Oasis, right? Is that you've kind of got this open area. And I also wanted people to be able to get to the Oasis, to walk through the trees, which you can't really do with vanilla Oasis. Ivan Dimitrov says hello. Hello, Ivan. Welcome. So it incorporates some design changes, and then we got these rocky ridges in the corners. And each of these corners has a relic there. And there's also a relic in the center. And there's some fish in the middle too. And you can and you should probably fish. But it's not the only thing that you should do. All of your wood lines are forward. So the map is actually surprisingly aggressive. I've tried to get this played at the pro level, and they just will not play it. And they had a good reason for the World Desert Championship. And the reason is because they felt that it was being a nomad map, that it would take a while to walk toward the center and build your town center, especially in a team game setting. Where the map is really big and you got to spend a long time walking. Okay, that made sense. They also had a lot of other nomad maps. The map was also submitted for Nilly's Apartment Cup, and they called the map Campy, if you can believe that. Which I was like, oh, come on, guys, this is not a campy map at all. I guess they felt that you could easily wall off your side of the map, which is totally not true, because these lions are here to prevent walling. So you could maybe kind of wall to here, but as soon as you start getting to this edge of the map against the extrema of the oasis, you got to really send a bunch of villagers over here to fight off all these lions, right, to wall to the edge of the map. So it's very prone to people slipping through with archers and man-at-arms. They can come through here easily enough where the lions aren't. And even if this is walled off, your opponent can still kill lions pretty easily with micro, with 4 archers, or they could just send scouts through. So it's actually a surprisingly aggressive map, and it's got a rich and ancient history. Not really, but it is inspired by rich and ancient history. It's inspired by the El Karga Oasis in Egypt. So when I made Shimmerpool, I basically copied the map concept, redid it in a new engine to compile all the scripts, and then I programmed in a number of different biomes for it. So they got the classic biome thing. Looks like a bad civ choice on this map, the Gurjaras. Oh, there are no Gurjaras, Ivan. You're probably on the previous map, or you're not caught up to live recording yet. We've got Celts versus Japanese on this map. Alright, so Ice-T is just pushing in some deer. Hyder is checking out Ice-T's base. Let's see Hyder's point of view. Now, this is the first time that Hyder's coming over here. So I don't exactly know what Hyder is planning. Celts, I think Celts have a pretty compelling man-at-arms rush. All right, Hyder's going to see this. See, look at this. This is the 2K flourish right there, right? Not 1 second after Hyder discovers this and looks like he's going to try to get in, Ice-T comes over here and it's like, all right, well, I better build these walls a little bit more to keep my villagers safe. Ice-T wants this. He's won an Alchemy League in the past. He's won money from us. He's a very serious player. He likes Alchemy League. We really appreciate having him, and he's very competitive here. So he's bringing his A game. And Hyder's sending over a villager. So, yeah, Ice-T is definitely a very dangerous opponent for Hyder. But maybe Hyder can get the drop on him. Surprise him. He's got a scout here. He's building a forward barracks, and he's headed up to the feudal age. He's got 3 on golds. So we're going to see probably a man-at-arms push from Hyder. So I think it's going to be man-at-arms. I don't know if Hyder is going to mix in towers. That would be really entertaining. But I don't think he's going to. He's got to kind of figure out what his opponent's doing, but he at least knows where the wood line is. I also don't know how much Hyder is going to contest water. He's kind of fished this out. He's going to share some fish over here with Ice-T. And he's just about feudal age. He hits feudal age. And he's going to make a couple more militia. Builds himself a house. The Celts have the faster wood chopping. I think it's a big advantage on this map. When all the wood is forward, you can really take the wood pretty fast. Your man-at-arms are a little bit faster. This lady is coming forward. Hopefully, for Hyder's sake, he doesn't run into any lions. Although he's got the 41 HP for this villager, so she has a little bit of handicap. And yeah, he's going to try to de-aggro the lions. But the lions get in on this side, so he's got to send his scout to help this lady fight off the lions. There we go. Well, that's kind of unfortunate for Hyder. And he's going to build his stable here. Ice-T was going second dock, and it looks like Hyder... Yeah, Hyder's not going to... He's got a garrison fishing ship, which is interesting, but it looks like he's not really going to invest much more into water. He tries to go after this villager, but the fire ship stops him. Ice-T actually kind of walling out his own woodline, which is sort of a strange choice, or walling in Hyder's man-at-arms. Ice-T has man-at-arms of his own. These are Japanese man-at-arms. They attack faster. But these are Celtic man-at-arms, which move faster. So, although Ice-T's man-at-arms are more powerful than Hyder's, Hyder's do not have to take the fight. And I think it would be a mistake to take the fight. Unless he gets his fourth man-at-arms here and outnumbers him. And then maybe he can take a fight. I don't know if he's going to do that, though. Oh, he's actually got 5. Alright, and there's a stable. And he's going to build a house here to give him some vision. So, he's got a number of units, but he can't really get in on Ice-T. Because Ice-T has managed to wall him out at every opportunity. But he definitely... Ice-T definitely hasn't ignored it. You know, like, he's made military of his own, and I think Hyder's going to try... Nope. Ice-T is paying attention. He's going to wall here, he's going to wall here. And Hyder, due to the number advantage, is going to fight Ice-T, and he's actually going to win this fight against the Japanese man-at-arms, which is a good win for Hyder. Although he loses a man-at-arms in so doing. And he's forced down a tower from his opponent. So Ice-T controls the water. I'm not sure what this is. Like, Hyder's got a fishing ship in here. I think that this fishing ship is a trick. I think this fishing ship is to make Ice-T believe that Hyder intends to contest water. And prevent Ice-T from making more fishing ships and get Ice-T to invest more in water. But Hyder is done with water. He's got a full ring of farms around his town center. And he's making a blacksmith. And he's not anywhere near going to the next stage. But he is coming around looking for trouble. And this is like the one side of Ice-T's base that he has not walled yet. So, does Ice-T know that Hyder's over there? Probably. You know, he's got vision. He's sending his units over there. He saw some units walk over here this time. But here Hyder comes. Maybe this is Hyder's lucky break. And, yep, he gets in on the villagers. I don't know if he's going to be able to get this one, though. Oh, he's got to pull back. And I think he's going to pick off that villager. That's a good villager kill right there. And Ice-T going for the quick wall. I think this lady's going to escape, though. I mean, these are Celtic man-at-arms. I almost think Hyder should have doubled down on that. I think he should have tried to pick off that villager. He's going to rush in with the scouts. That's unfortunate, though. I don't think the scouts meant to do that. But Hyder did get a villager pick-off, but Ice-T got a number of fishing ships. So, I think Ice-T still came out ahead. So, Ice-T's resources are there. Hyder's resources. Neither player really close to going up to the castle age yet. And I love this tower. This is a fun tower. I appreciate that Hyder is playing this map aggressively. Oh no, the tower is cancelled. I guess he changes his mind. Decides not to build it. These are Celtic archers. They do have the range upgrade. Ice-T, is he making any more fishing ships? Doesn't look like it. There's not really a lot of fish left, so it doesn't make too much sense. Ice-T is investing into skirmishers. I guess it's a pretty cost-effective way to counter what Hyder is doing. Yeah, I don't know if we're going to see too much more action in the Feudal Age. I think Hyder is kind of slowly massing the resources to click up to the next stage. Ice-T came over here, and luckily for Hyder, he was already walled off. You can wall to the edge of the map like this. This is okay. Now, Hyder is going to have to pull back here. Ice-T is going to ambush these villagers. But Hyder has a little bit of extra health. And by a little bit of extra health, I mean one hit point. So it didn't make a difference here. Oh, Ice-T trying to get in. Hyder should really, like, build something right here, though. He really should, like, force these units to move into the tower. They're taking down the wall surprisingly fast. But I guess Hyder's just going to kind of give up this area. I think that's a mistake. I think he should have built something right here. Force these units to funnel into the tower. But, you know, maybe he feels like I got this tower, I'm fine. Ooh, that would be unfortunate if this man-at-arms killed this villager. It's only one. I mean, Hyder made like 5 man-at-arms to get a single villager. Okay, Ice-T. Yeah, he's just going to move around back. He's going to find Hyder's sheep, probably. Probably. I guess Hyder's buttoned up pretty good over here. He's not too worried. He's towered his gold. Gonna throw some arrows into this farmer here and be annoying. Hyder's on his way up to the castle age, so he's not too worried about it. But Ice-T is not far behind him. You know, they're about 10% apart, if that, maybe a little bit less. So Japanese on this map are pretty powerful, I think. You know, they can halberdiers, siege weapons, monks. It's pretty unstoppable, in my opinion. They could always make the Yasama towers and like creep across all these trees and secure all the wood lines. But Celts have some pretty mean siege options themselves. I mean, both are. I mean, Celts are probably more specialized for infantry and siege, slightly, especially the siege side of things. But the Japanese are very flexible, right? They get Arbalister, they get fully upgradable monks. They've got those Kataparutu trebuchets. They've got better navy. They just got all kinds of different options. And the Celts are really more specialized. So I think Hyder needs to make something happen. And it looks like he's thinking about it. He's got his barracks here. Now Ice-T knows about this barracks, and he knows about the flags on the barracks. Check the fog of war. I think. No, he doesn't know about the barracks. Okay. And he's never going to know about the flags on the barracks. So Hyder has made a bunch of man-at-arms. He's got some archers. And Hyder is presumably getting the appropriate upgrades. And he's making some knights. Uh-oh. He's facing more resistance here than he thought. He's going to try to focus the archer down and send the man-at-arms in. And unfortunately, these armies attacking at different times really hurts Hyder a lot. If these armies had attacked at the same time, he maybe could have gotten some high-value trade out of that. But he basically just gave up his archers so that these man-at-arms could get in here and run around. But they're not going to find much damage. Ice-T has built another town center. I think that Hyder should just build like a siege workshop over here. Make some mangonels, come forward, start eating the town center. Now, Japanese could go fishing. Like, these Japanese fishing ships are very tanky. The fishing ships work faster. He could make fish traps. I think he could really build up quite the fishing economy here if he wanted to. He's got a stable. He's making some knights. Ice-T building a university. Probably to get ballistics, I would imagine. Hyder going to come up here and try to get in. Ice-T has managed to break into Hyder's base. So Hyder's just going to go up this way and build his siege workshop. Do these knights have any upgrades? Nope, no upgrades. Ice-T coming out here to try to finish this wall. Hyder not allowing it. So they are doing a good job of raiding each other and being annoying. Big tower investment from Hyder. And I think it's all purchased too. I don't think he's on stone anywhere. Actually, no, he is. He's on stone back here. Still, not enough stone collection in my opinion, so a lot of these towers are probably purchased. But they're keeping his economy safe, and yeah, look at him. He's got quite the row of them here. He's on one town center trying to kill Ice-T. 55 to 51 villagers. You know, out of respect, I just got to say this: like, being only 4 villagers behind, and being 1 town center versus 2 town centers, I think he's doing okay. Harassing Ice-T enough. Of course, cav archers. Everybody makes Japanese cav archers now. I don't get it. It just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Japanese, they didn't need cav archers, but the devs gave them cav archer bonuses anyway. The Lion's working on Hyder's knights. Ice-T really hasn't come out here and found this yet, has he? Does he know about that? Oops. I guess he does. He does know that that's there, but he's not interested in clearing it out. More so interested in wherever Hyder has sent his units. I guess these knights are... What are they intended for? Intercepting? Well, Ice-T doesn't really have army over here anymore. Hyder going to add another town center. He's adding 2 more town centers. So I think Hyder has given up the aggression at this point. No? Well, he's got a couple knights and he's made some scorpions. So I don't think he's fully given it up yet. Alright, what's this? Is Ice-T finally deciding he wants some stone? Looks like he is. Alright, so Ice-T coming over here for some stone. Scorpions will be good against the cavalry archers, so Ice-T has got to make himself a siege workshop here. Make himself a mangonel. He could even mix in some monks, I think. Knights are only a slight counter to cavalry archers if they have their armor upgrades as appropriate. So the scorpions help out a lot. These are Celtic scorpions, so they fire faster, and they'll have more health if Hyder gets his unique technology. Hyder building a university could be a sign of going up to the next stage. Let's see. Oh, he's nowhere near. So I don't know what the university is for. Maybe it's for some tower upgrades. Not sure. Tower or building upgrades. Let's see, where's Ice-T taking gold? He's taking gold right here. I actually think Hyder could get a lot of value out if he sent his knights in and raided this area. If he could get a castle drop, like right here, Ice-T would be... It would put Ice-T in a bad spot. Oh, it's a good mangonel shot, though. He's got to run. Scorpions could very easily be flattened by this mangonel. He's sending his knights in to deal with it. Hyder wants to commit to killing the mangonel. And he does, but it costs him some knights. Costs him 3 knights. Okay, so that was unfortunate for Hyder that he had to dive in to fight the mangonel, but it is what it is. And Ice-T has a lot of injured cavalry archers. So they're both skirmishing. You know, Hyder, to his credit, Hyder's taking good map control on this side. Like, Ice-T still hasn't fought this off. And Ice-T doesn't really have a presence over here, except to send in some raiding units. Hyder with another town center. These gold piles may not look like a lot, but they are actually a lot. They've got 2,000 gold in them apiece. And so you can see one that hasn't been taken from yet. Hyder deciding he's going to spend some time destroying this siege workshop. The Celtic Scorpions, look at that, just killing the knight. No other civilization would get that knight down so quickly as Celts. He's making another barracks. Wondering if... Oh, look at this. He's going into pikemen. So Hyder is... And he's getting longswordsmen. And he's getting gambesons. So Hyder really tipping his hand here, and he's kind of showing us that he wants this infantry siege push eventually. These knights are just here for raiding purposes. I don't know how prepared Hyder is to deal with all of this. I really think Hyder is at the point where he should, like, send knights over here, kill off these lions, right, then stonewall, and then send knights over here, kill off the lions, and then stonewall. Like, he needs to prevent these cavalry archers from raiding his economy. Yeah, this is a good find for Ice-T. It's a logical place to look. The lions are over here helping Hyder out, though, fighting Ice-T's cavalry archers. Is that cavalry archer going to go down to lions? That would be pretty funny. No, he does manage to save it. But, yeah, 5 or 6 villagers going down there for Hyder, which is not ideal. I'm surprised that Ice-T is letting these cav archers just, like, die. Okay, there we go. He must have been very distracted. Yeah, Hyder seemed to time that pretty well with a knight push of his own. And he's building up longswords, and he's presumably going to be building up pikemen, too. Okay, here come the knights. He's got to be very careful. Longswords fighting the knights, and with the backing of the scorpions, they will win. So it was a good fight for Hyder right there. Ice-T doing a castle drop, though. He doesn't want the fight to be over here. He wants the fight to be on Hyder's doorstep. And these longswords, they have all of the armor upgrades. So they are going to start to dive buildings, I think. Is he going to go for the town center? He was going for it earlier. He might just let the scorpions work on it. He's going to go for the archery range while he builds up numbers. So this castle has gone up. Hyder's had to abandon these farms here. Ice-T has a couple of knights knocking on the door. Hyder needs to sort out his wood chopping situation, though. This is pretty unfortunate. These villagers are all just standing around. He needs to garrison his town center, too, but he's fighting over here. He wants to try to deny this castle, but Ice-T gets the castle down in time, so Hyder can't fight there. But he might push up this way. This would be how I would push up. Ice-T looking for the last of Hyder's siege, trying to hunt it down with this knight. Yeah, Hyder taking a lot of damage over here. I feel like he maybe could have done a better job of walling this off. Oh, Ice-T fighting some lions. Gonna lose some villagers to that. He doesn't realize it. Alright, there he goes. He's got it. Okay, Hyder kind of sorting out this lumber camp situation. He's still got a bunch of idols. He's got some rams going. Ice-T is on his way up to the Imperial Age. Hyder has not clicked yet. This is the reason why. He's got a big army of longswords here. So he needs to push pretty soon before Ice-T can get up to the Imperial Age. Got a few rams. Probably going to garrison in the rams. He's making a 4th ram. It's probably going to be 4 rams and then all of these infantry accompanying them. Ice-T sending his cavalry up this way. He's decided he'd rather push with it. Feels confident enough that he's got a mangonel and he's got some samurais here. So he doesn't need them. And here comes Hyder. This mangonel is going to be pretty damaging, though. If it can hit. These are Celtic rams. Fully garrisoned. The ram manages to kill the mangonel, and now it's going for the base of the castle. Hyder's longswords managed to win this fight, but he's got to keep this ram alive. Ice-T has just hit the Imperial Age. This samurai attacks faster, so Ice-T is going to try to focus this ram, and he does manage to kill it. These long swordsmen now. Down here at the base, trying to hold the line. He needs to keep his siege alive, but Ice-T is sniping it. Ice-T actually has forced Ice-T to build another castle, so I suppose that's somewhat of an accomplishment here. Hyder could use a couple more siege workshops closer to the front. You know, he needs like 2 more siege workshops, each pumping out 2 rams apiece or something. And Hyder calling the GG. Yeah, he sees that Ice-T is just too far ahead. He can't really get the damage in on him, unfortunately. Ice-T defending very, very handsomely. I think Hyder could have walled a little bit better to prevent some damage. Maybe his attack would have been successful. Let's take a look at the statistics. So Ice-T with, again, a very favorable kill-to-death ratio. 157 kills, 90 units lost, 5 buildings razed, 1 lost. Hyder with a bigger army, though. Food, wood, stone, and gold, all greater in collection for Ice-T. Ice-T with a faster feudal age by a few seconds. Hyder with a faster castle age by a few seconds, and Ice-T actually making it to imperial age. Hyder put everything he had into castle age aggression. Ice-T getting 1 relic, 25 relic gold, and booming up to 129 villagers. Timeline was relatively even. Hyder kept continuous pressure on Ice-T, and Ice-T kept continuous pressure on Hyder, but Ice-T got more value out of his pressure than Hyder did. So guys, I've really enjoyed casting these with you. I really appreciate you participating in the stream. And I'm going to try to do some more casts for the second sprint for sure. Actually got a lot more to do. I won't do any more today, but I will do more in the coming weeks. So keep an eye out, stay tuned, and I look forward to seeing you guys again soon. Thank you so much for joining, and have a great rest of your day.